What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Tyler Perry's Sistas. This is Season 5, Episode 15, and the episode is titled Two Can Play That Game. Let's go ahead and jump right on into this review. So, we start off with Preston and Danny, and of course, Preston is trying to propose to her, and she is letting him know that he doesn't really want to do that, and she has a lot going on, and this isn't the time for this. She also mentions how this ring is probably for Mindy, and she does not want another woman's ring. Now, he assures her that this ring is for her, but Danny is clearly not interested. Now, here's my thing. I know that we loved, at one point, Preston and Danny together, but if I'm being honest, Tyler has ruined Preston's character for me, especially once he brought in this storyline with Mindy. That storyline should have never made it to us, the viewers, because it makes no sense. You mean to tell me things got tough with you and Danny because y'all were already separated, and you decide, I'm going to go back home and go marry some other chick because she was always waiting for me? That's not going to fly. It's not. So the fact that he's coming back now, he's only been at Danny's house for 2 days at this point, maybe a day and a half, and now you want to propose to her? Sir, can y'all go back to dating? Can you officially be her boyfriend? Because that has never happened. I'm sorry, I have to be on Danny's side with this. Don't try to rush into a marriage when we haven't even dated, for real. Because if we really want to call a thing when it comes to Danny and Preston's relationship, the only thing they did was lay up with each other. He cooked for her, and I want to say that was it. There was no real relationship. He did not take her out on dates. They have never really even gotten to know each other, what each other likes or dislikes. The only thing that we knew was that he liked bluegrass music and she didn't. But I'm just like, that is such a small percentage of what a person likes and dislikes. Why can't they explore what each other like and dislike? Why can't we see them, doing things that couples do? I'm just trying to be honest here. I hate the way Tyler has written Danny's storyline with Preston, because at one point I thought, okay, if they do get back together, then maybe they're going to relearn each other. Maybe he's not going to move back in, because that was another thing. Preston moved in day 2 of knowing that man. Why did that even happen? I feel like they literally jumped headfirst into everything except for an actual relationship, because, again, they were never boyfriend and girlfriend. So they need to start over back at square one. They need to start over at, hi, my name is Danny. Hi, my name is Preston. Can I take you out for dinner? That's where they need to start this all the way back. Because there's no way you're going to tell me jumping into a marriage is a smart thing to do. Come on now. Y'all don't even really know each other like that. And I think that is where Danny is coming from. We don't really know each other like that. So as much as she likes Preston, she likes the idea of Preston, she feels like he doesn't really know her, and she doesn't really know him. And not to mention the fact that she has a lot going on as far as the trauma that she has not even mentioned to him that happened with Jonah. And to be honest, she needs to go to some type of therapy for that. But you already know Tyler refuses to write in any of these ladies going to therapy. And I know that we have watched Danny and Preston for a long time, because we're at, season 5 now? I can't recall what season or when he came into the show, but it seems like they've been together for a long time. But really, in Tyler Perry world, they haven't. Because y'all already know, it takes us 3-4 episodes to get through one day. So it feels like it's probably only been a couple of weeks, really. Maybe a few months? Not really sure. But nonetheless, it's not long enough for them to be walking around engaged. It's bad enough that Tyler gave Fatima and Zach that storyline. There's no way you're going to tell me that as a writer, you decided, well, we're going to have Fatima and Zach be engaged because, they're the fan favorite couple at the moment. But then, of course, we all are looking like that was rushed, because Zach and Fatima have not even been together that long, but we gonna rock with the storyline. But what you're not gonna do is make sure that you make another couple be engaged and then another couple be engaged. No, Tyler. These couples don't even have the qualifications to get engaged. So no, we don't want that. Because I'm telling y'all, this man is probably 2 seconds away from having Aaron propose to Karen. I can see it. I can totally see Tyler Perry writing that. But let me jump on back over to Preston and Danny. So Danny is like, I'm about to go take a shower. You need to go ahead and chill out. You know what I mean? Because you're kind of doing a lot. So he's like, oh, I messed up. I shouldn't have done this. And she's like, yeah, you could have waited like 2 to 3 years. See, even Danny knows it don't make no sense. But nonetheless, he's like, yeah, I should have proposed to you when you're sober. I said, sober? How did we jump to that conclusion, Preston? Can you please? You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and move along because Preston not about to stress me out. So, of course, Danny hops on the phone when she gets into the bathroom and she has to call her girl Sabrina to let her know what's going on. Now, when she tells her that Preston proposed to her, she was kind of excited. Like, oh, not Danny. Sabrina was like, oh my gosh, what'd you say? And she's like, I told him no. And she's like, why? I'm like, so you mean to tell me that if Calvin was to propose to you, you would just jump and say yes? Is that what we doing, Sabrina? No. You would definitely say no. So let's not act like it's so weird for Danny to say no. So they get off the phone or whatever, and it's clear that Sabrina is happy that Calvin is at her house. Now, here's my thing. Could we not? I thought we were moving on from Calvin and Sabrina being together. Like, I could have swore prior to her going to jail, they were separate. They weren't doing things together. She was interested in the African prince. Bring back the African prince. Because I can't remember what the storyline was, but there was something about to go down with him. So I needed for us to go ahead and refresh my memory on what happened with the African prince. Because I would take him over Calvin any day, especially considering, remember when she went on that one date with him and she was like, it was like the best night of her life? Girl, circle back over there, not with Calvin. Nonetheless, Calvin, he comes out of her bathroom after he done blew her bathroom up. I'm just like, yeah, this ain't funny, number one. Number two, y'all that comfortable with each other at this point? Whatever. All right, y'all, can we be honest about this scene? Because I feel like it was supposed to be giving this whole emotional moment, but I was not feeling it. Like, it's something about Calvin and Calvin and Sabrina's characters, when they're together and it's supposed to be like this emotional thing, I just don't feel it. I don't know if it's the way that the characters are written. I don't know if it's the acting. Something about it, I'm just like, all right, let's move on. Because you have Sabrina crying about how she done lost her job and how this is hard for her to go through. And he talking about how he gonna be there for her. And I'm just like, yeah, all right. What else is going on? Because I just don't feel it. And then when she was like, you know, her mom is sick and she's the sole provider for her, I said, since when? Because we ain't never seen your mama. Like, I feel like Tyler needs to bring in these other dynamics that he has these girls mention. For example, I definitely think that you should have brought in someone being Sabrina's mother at some point if you knew that you were going to drag out this storyline. Like, so that we can actually see her have something else to do besides play around with Calvin and be a friend to these girls. What else is going on, girl? Let us see you actually have to, like, help your mom or go visit your mom. Like, I don't know. I feel like this show, I know what it is. I know what I've gotten myself into since I've watched it. But I just feel like there's so much room for improvement. Now, let's go ahead and move along to Andy. Oh, God, this girl. So she gets a call from Robin or whatever. And he's like, you know, I'm going to need that phone number because she mentioned that she knew somebody who could help him out financially or whatever. And I'm trying to figure out who does she know because she keeps referencing it as if it's a guy. Now, I thought she was going to give him Madam's number because, you know, she can help people out of stuff. But I'm just like, who else does Andy know that could help him in this financial bind? But nonetheless, Robin ends up telling Andy, like, you know, thanks for giving me the heads up. And I'm like, when did she give you the heads up? This girl literally took photos of the paperwork that Gary had and she did not send it to you. She did not give you a heads up. She let you know that maybe she could help by giving you the number of somebody with some money. What are we talking about here? Did Tyler forget that Andy hasn't told Robin what's going on? So anyways, he ends up telling her, that he owes her one. Oh, that was her big opportunity to ask him for another favor like she loves to do so that he can try to, get Maurice out of jail. Now, of course, he's like, listen, I don't have another $1 million to give you, girl, so that we can keep getting these people out of jail. But he did say that he will give her a call in the morning so that way she can figure out a time to go see Maurice in jail. Here is my thing. There is no way that you're going to tell me that Robin has not cut Andy off completely at this point. There is no way I can see a man that powerful, that handsome, this successful, still playing boyfriend number 2 for Andy. It makes no sense, especially to the point that Gary is about to try to screw him over financially, take his job away, take his livelihood, and he's still gonna play around with Andy. That don't add up to me. I feel like he would have cut her off by now, because if I was if I was Robin, I would have been like, Andy, do you know something about this? Are you a part of this? Because how convenient is it that, Gary has cooked up an entire plan so that way I'll lose my job and you don't know nothing about it, but you still asking me for favors while you dating a man who got a bunch of money? Because that's what she's doing. She's literally messing around with Gary because she want to keep her penthouse, but then she keep asking Robin for all these favors. No, baby girl, why couldn't you borrow the money from Gary to get Maurice out of jail? How about you do that? Like, it is so crazy the way Andy has leaned in so hard on how Robin can help her out. And at this time, this man ain't getting nothing in return. He ain't hooked up with Andy since he came back. So it's been a little bit of time. Like, at this point, I honestly feel like I am waiting for Andy to fall. I am waiting for the time where Andy is going to fall flat on her face because she's basically tried to play these two men against each other. And at one point, the favors are going to fall. He ain't going to want to deal with you. And then at another point, I feel like Gary also is not going to want to deal with you because you don't really want to be with him. When does that episode air, Tyler Perry? But let me go ahead and move on, because now we have ear hustling Gary. He comes strolling in talking about who were you talking to? We all know you was listening at the door. You were listening at the door trying to figure something out. So, of course, he's like, I was just listening. I thought someone was in here. And Andy's like, yeah, and if there were somebody in here, basically he can't do nothing about it. And I'm just like, I'm so over Gary and Andy. So he says he's going to go take a shower because he's musty from playing ball with the guys. And he decides he's going to go ahead and call Hayden. Now, he thinks that Andy is letting Robin know information and how, he just feels like she's up to something. And I'm like, boy, if only you knew she is riding for you when it comes to this situation, because she ain't told Robin nothing. She could have easily sent Robin in papers that she took photos of, but she refuses to. Hayden, he honestly does not care because he is so wrapped up in the girl. I want to say her name was Tamara. So he don't really care about this. All right, now let's go ahead and move on over to Zach and Fatima, because they are getting ready for the day. And of course, Fatima's getting ready to go to work. Zach is getting ready to go see his attorney to talk about this whole child support stuff with Karen. Unfortunately, Heather hasn't been answering her phone, so he can't really get in touch with her. And when it comes down to Karen actually having to sign the papers, they have a conversation about, Fatima being okay with him going to deliver the papers to Karen himself. Now, I could have swore the papers were supposed to go to Andy and then to Karen, but I see we just gonna do things all types of out of order. So, of course, now Fatima is wearing her ring because she has nobody to hide from that she's engaged. Here's my thing. Can we be like for real about Zach? Zach ain't got no job, but he stay wearing a new suit every time we see him. And I'm just trying to figure out why. Like, I feel like it's okay for Zach to wear regular clothes sometime. Like, he really is pretending to be like this really big businessman, and he ain't bought no new properties. He ain't really done nothing that was substantial. He ain't got no new income. Can we give it up, Tyler? Can we please put that man in some regular clothes? But let's go ahead and move on to the next scene because we are back with Danny and Preston. So baby girl is trying to get ready for work. Preston is laid up in her bed and he's talking about he probably gonna go back home. And I'm like, please do. You ain't gotta go to work. Like, remember he was a cowboy and tending to the cows and the horses. Can he go back to that? Because I'm tired of seeing him laid up in her house. I really am. So he wants to talk about the ring. She don't want to talk about the ring. And he over here talking about so I should just give old girl the ring. And I'm just like, how do we circle back here? And I, again, was on Danny's side. What you not about to do is keep giving me this ultimatum of either I choose you right now or you're going to go back to your ex. And you're not about to keep throwing this little girlfriend or ex-girlfriend of yours in my face. So at one point, Danny ends up asking Preston, like, what are your friends saying about this whole situation? Who are you getting advice from? And at first he don't want to say nothing, but then he lets her know that basically they support him being with Mindy. And I'm just like, if his friends are anything like his brothers, then he probably need new friends anyway because they don't even like black women. But let's go ahead and move on. So we jump on over to Andy, and she ends up giving Robin the phone number of her contact who can help him. Then we see her talking to Fatima, and she wants to know how does Fatima feel about what went down last night. And of course that was when Karen was over there spazzing out because they're engaged and how they got pictures around their house. So Fatima is like, she thinks that Zach needs to handle that, and she's even cool with the fact that Karen's child belongs to Zach. Because clearly she loves this man that much that she is willing to accept anything that happened before her. So Andy does let Fatima know that Karen is in a good space, especially when it comes to her and Aaron. So she gonna be alright. So Tamara ends up calling Fatima to give her an update on what went down with Hayden. She says that she's gonna have this man eating out the palm of her hands in no time, and Fatima asks her to make sure that she gets him to drop Heather as a client. All right, whatever. Let's move on. All right, let's go ahead and jump on over to Sabrina and Calvin because, yeah, they get a phone call from Maurice, right? And I cannot lie, I laughed when Maurice was like, y'all still bumping cats over there? I laughed. I did. So, of course, Maurice tells her about how the prosecutor is like, her and Sabrina and Q, they planned this together and threw Maurice under the bus. And Sabrina's like, well, you know that's not true, right? And I'm just like, I would hope so. Because when did you get into cahoots with Q? Anyway, so she ends up letting Maurice know that the prosecutor is coming down hard on him because he lost a divorce case with Andy or something like that. So then she also tells him to call her in an hour because she's about to go see Andy. Now, I'm just like, so you really think that you're going to get some answers within an hour? Okay, girl. You must live down the street from her office. Now, Calvin, once they get off the phone with Maurice, Calvin is like, all right, yeah, let's go ahead and go to Andy's job. You don't have a construction site to go to? Don't you have a job? Find something to do, Calvin. Now, speaking of find something to do, here comes Q. He is rolling up on Danny at her job, of course. Now, he over here talking about how were the drinks last night? Oh, let's do it again tonight. Oh, you know what? Maybe I could stop by and we can, smoke, get some takeout, all this stuff. I said, oh, here he go. Because you already know he live in pillar to post, ain't got nowhere to go. So now he trying to move in with Danny. Now, she ends up asking him, what did he go to jail for? Because since he got this ankle monitor on. And he tells her this big fat lie about how he beat up some man who was abusing his mama. And I'm just like, boy, you just gonna run with this lie about how you just been fighting all your life. All your life you had to fight. Cut it out. Cut it out, Q. Now, this man is adamant about getting to Danny's house to the point where he writes his phone number down so that way she can call him and text him the address to her house. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I'm telling you this right now, Tyler, if you write that into the script that she actually is going to invite that man over, I'm going to be extremely pissed off, especially considering what we already witnessed happen between her and Jonah. Don't do that. I'm telling you now. Don't do it. All right, so Zach shows up to Karen's salon. And Karen is like, oh, well, I text you back or whatever. He's like, I never got it. And she's like, well, let me go ahead and check my phone. So she checked her phone. She realized that she didn't hit the send button. He lets her know that he has the documents with him. And she's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and talk about it. She leaves her client so that way she can go talk to him in the back. So he whips out the paperwork or whatever, and she just automatically signs it. He's like, what are you doing? You know you have to have Andy look over it. You can't just sign this paperwork. And she's like, no, I don't need a lawyer. I'm just going to go ahead and sign it. I said, what is happening? Because just last night, this is the same lady who got upset when he said that he would give the baby, what was it, $3,000 a month? And she was like, oh, we definitely going to be getting more than that. How you just going to automatically sign this paperwork, girl? And then for Tyler to try to circle it back around to these stupid letters, if you don't cut it out. And the fact that she's like, because Fatima, she's a cool chick. I'm sorry, but I'm siding with Zach. Girl, them letters did not make you change your mind that quick. There's no way that overnight you are acting like a brand new person. Either Karen has something up her sleeve, or Tyler is trying to figure out a way to rewrite her character so that people can like her again. Because I would have respected this conversation happening if, a couple of days had went by. But this is just the next day. Like, be for real. So Karen, she's like, congratulations on the engagement and how they basically both need to go ahead and move on because there is no chance that they are going to get back together. Now, this man is about to walk out the shop, okay? And he's just heading out the door. He's like, I'll see you later, Karen, whatever. We leave on pleasantries. And she's like, hey. And he's looking at her like, girl, what? What are you talking about? And she just kind of like tilts her head. So she literally gives this man a hug goodbye and a kiss on the cheek. I said, now, Karen, you pushing it. You really pushing it, girl. And I was with Pam. Fatima gonna beat you up because none of this was called for. It really wasn't, Zach. It wasn't. But y'all, we already know that it's gonna be a mess and some drama on the next episode because Angela, she strolls her fine self into Fatima's office and she literally is like, you and Zach, y'all good, right? And Fatima's like, yeah, of course. So she ends up showing her a picture of Zach and Fatima. I'm sorry, not Zach and Fatima, Zach and Karen while they were at Karen's shop. So now, of course, Fatima is upset because she's like, what is this photo? Now, here's my thing. Angela, it's funny that you found time to be, bringing all this mess to your girl Fatima. But we really need to be figuring out what's going on with you and Bryce. Like, at this point, where is Fatima? I need to show Fatima to come back because I need to know if she's still dating Bryce. Because that right there is the bigger fish that she could be frying. But nonetheless, that was the episode. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all on the next one. Bye, guys.